many years ago. My parents moved down into Fresno County. That's pretty much all cattle people down there. And we became friends with a lot of pretty good-sized cattle operations. I found my first love working with cattle. I was ripe old age of about 12 years old. Those days, if you were man enough to sit a horse and do the job, you got paid wages. 60 some odd years ago, came to work on a piece of property. I was out of the Army. About 3 days later, I went to work there for 2 weeks. Then the Fitzgeralds got involved by buying that piece of property, and I went along with the piece of property.
Tino is one of the very lucky persons who dearly loves what he does. So when he gets up in the morning, there's never, oh, I gotta go to work, ever. So he looks forward to getting up and going down and seeing what's going on in the barn. He just enjoys every phase of this. And it's nice, because that makes a happy man, and a happy man's pretty easy to live with.
I really can't say that there's anything that I dislike about cattle business. I love to improve ground to make better quality feed, better cattle. Some people say I might be prejudiced, but nevertheless, it's been in my blood for a lot of years. The Fitzgeralds were very kind to me and gave me a very free hand, and I pretty much ran everything as I seen fit, and we were partners as far as the development of Middle Ridge Ranch.
You see all the ponds on the ranch, Tino made those, and all the fences he built. His whole life is here. When he was doing the ponds, he was not only making water for the cattle, but he was making an environment for the ducks and the birds, anybody who wanted to come swim kind of thing. He just loves this. His whole heart and soul is in this.
These cattle here have all been born and raised on the ranch, so they know that horn means feed. Used to be the old time cowboy would yodel and talk to the cattle in that manner, get up on a high point, and he could call cattle for miles. But I could do that years ago, but I can't anymore. I lost my singing voice. My horn right now is kind of sick, but when I have a good loud horn, they'll hear that horn and come a-running.
Oh, gosh. Dogs are great. A dog, it's like a hired man. He's always there. He never asks for a raise. He never calls in sick. He never wants a vacation. All he wants you to do is just love him and give him some attention and care, and that's their whole total pay. They do the work of probably 5 or 6 cowboys horseback. Dogs bond really easy with Tino. They're his buddies. They go everywhere he goes. Even the little funny white dog, goes with Dad in the truck. Tino is very close to the dogs. Still, there's times he won't talk about Pocket. Pocket was his girl. He dearly loved her. We lost her when she was 6 years old. Still pretty young. She was amazing. She was very loyal, very sweet and loving. She would do a thing with her foot and paw you. She loved to snuggle her head and her chin underneath your neck. She just wanted to be there. She just wanted to be loved. And for that, she did a whole lot of work.
Cattle business has been so difficult over the years with the Fitzgeralds. I can remember selling cattle for 25 cents a pound. A few days ago, heard of a price of 450-pound calf selling for $2.23. Because of the drought, the mother cows, they're not in the condition that they normally would be in because of the shortage of feed. So it makes it hard to market this animal, where normally we would have a cow in April, May, that she might weigh 1,400 pounds. And right now she'd be lucky if she had more than 1,050. We're fortunate enough that we have reservoirs on the ranch, so the water is not a big factor for us right now. It's just the feed. Some people have the misfortune of having no feed and no water. We began to see the problem way back in April. As soon as the rains in February stopped, the creeks went dry because we had dryness prior to that and didn't get enough rainfall during the winter months. And so the ground was still absorbing all this water, so the streams and the reservoirs and what have you that we have on the ranch, they all became dry. I've never experienced anything like this in my life. Now everybody is starting to see the picture here that this is the worst thing that's happened to us for 100 years or better.
This isn't cattle country where we are. You go over by Red Bluff, Chico, around in there, there's a lot more cattle. There's no grapes, or very little grapes. Here it seems to be like Mendocino and Lake County are the really big grape areas, and it became popular when the price of grapes went. And you can't blame people, for planting them because they were a good cash crop then.
For one thing, all this flat ground that's vineyard here produced all of the hay that we needed, like 500-600 tons. Today, we're purchasing that, so that makes our costs considerable. So it's just like all of the big valleys, they're doing the same thing over there. They're choking them off. Vineyards are a little bit down now, but there for a while, they were tremendously high per ton. I feel like the grapes we could do without the wine if we have to. Not that it wouldn't go along nice with a steak, but we just don't think that we can survive.
We used to run like 250 head of mama cows, and that gave us the babies naturally. That was our income for the year, and we did fine with that. Now we're cut way back on the cows and calves, so therefore our income's cut back.
You go on and on about why we don't particularly appreciate the vineyards, but I guess the big bucks are over there. Mom and I are proud that we produce something for people to eat, to help everybody be healthy and so on and so forth. We take pride in what we've raised so far. We've come from a breed of cattle that weren't too popular, and now we have nothing but black cattle. Mama does have a pet that's red, but nevertheless, she's still an Angus.
Ruby Red Dress, she's my girl. She's what you call a lead cow. She's the boss. And whatever she tells the heifers to do, they follow her and do it. She says, I'm the queen and this is it. And I think this is probably her fourth baby that she's had. I have a picture of her on my phone where most people have kids or grandkids. I have a cow. Being the wife is being part of the whole thing, and I love what we do. You got to be patient. If you plan to go somewhere and you get in the truck and you leave and you hit the cattle guard and you get a call something's wrong, it's okay to back up and go back home and you're not going to go. But you get used to that. It's nerve-wracking sometimes, but what job isn't? Hi, Daddy. I make you a cup of tea. It was cold. Okay?
That's better than a cup of tea.
You sit down and I'll get you tea.
Thank you.
I think we like each other. Basically, I think you have to like each other first. Then the love comes, but the like and the love kind of match together. What do you think?
I think that time creates a bond. It takes a little while to get to know one another, and good and bad and different. She's always been there for me. She's taught me to play this game of cowboy all these years. Bought me more horses than I deserve. So pretty hard not to love someone like that.
Well, you've always stood by me, too.
I only bought you one horseshoe, bought me a lot of horses.
Well, we're not supposed to count how many. It's not how many that count.
Kids that grow up on a ranch that raise animals and what have you kind of get a little earlier start in what it's all about out here. I think it's a great way of life. When they get bigger and actually go out in the big world and see all and do all, which they have, none of them followed Dad's footsteps. I think that they're very happy at what they're doing, and that's the most important part.
Raising a daughter on the ranch was really fun. She loved it as much as her mom loved it. She had cattle, and she and Tino would sit at the table and argue about what the best bull was to breed with this cow and what kind of calf they'd get, and she'd like one thing and he'd like the other thing, so I'd go to bed and just let them do their thing. The awards, I've got them in there on the kitchen wall. Tino won Cattleman of the Year, and he was very, very proud of that. He was so moved that when they gave him the award, he couldn't say anything. He just kind of said thank you and scooted back to his place. But we must have had 20, 25 friends and family there. That meant the whole world to him. He thought that was great. Tino is a good guy, and he knows what he's doing. And he knows how to feed cattle, and he knows how to take care of them. And that's what you look for in a cattleman, is someone who's patient and knowledgeable, and he always wants to learn. He never says, oh, we used to do it that way. You know, who cares about how you used to do it that way? That's not working now. Times have changed, so he's very interested in any new feed that comes, anything that comes with the cattle. He wants to catch on to all the new stuff that's happening. He doesn't want to let anything pass.
It was fun to develop the ranch and see the progress. It didn't come easy. It took a lot of years. Once upon a time, Middle Ridge Ranch was known as a cattle ranch. That's something that we're proud of. You just have it in your blood to be a cattleman, that's all.